me personally, I've had, since the last time we filmed here, I've had quite a journey, like an insane journey. And it all began with a diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis. I was diagnosed shortly after we spoke. I was diagnosed with ADHD, adult ADHD. Now, the backstory to that is, I as a kid, I had different phases. Sometimes there had school years that everything was okay. And then I had some school years about when I was 11 years old, I kind of went off the rails. And so I saw school psychiatrists, and they gave diagnoses. But all credit, much credit to my parents for definitely wanting the best for me, and that really wanted to get me, on the straight and narrow. I was kind of treated as someone that had a diagnosis for a little bit, but then it seemed to have disappeared. Went from 6th grade chaos to 7th grade, back, getting good grades and doing good things. And so I lived with this, with whatever was plaguing me for all these years, thinking that I don't have it. That went from school into rabbinical school and yeshiva, and then into married life, and then into working life here, in Toronto as a Chabad rabbi. And so what happened is that I don't think it was not long after you and I sat down that last time in May or June 2022. I was listening to a podcast. It's a podcast done by an individual who runs an organization in the States that it's called Neshamos, which translates from Hebrew into souls. And it's a organization that helps people in the religious Jewish community that are going through mental health struggles, various types, from addiction to ADHD to everything in between, from the lightest to the heaviest, whatever, everything. And he has a podcast, and he was actually sitting down with a girl who's a little older than me. She's actually a sister of a good friend of mine, and she's talking about how only at 26 did she realize that she had ADHD, and she's sitting there and she's listing all these different symptoms in like 1 second. Chronically forgetting basic tasks and commitments, and then trying to clean up and lying to people, or like at least stretching to the truth in order to cover myself up. Check. Being afraid of overwhelming situations that require effort and more social capital. Check. And like checking off all these different, and I've been it's something that I've opened up to very few people, but was thinking about
now the world.
I've been thinking about it recently, just being much more comfortable with myself, and allowing people to understand that, I'm in a position of leadership. I try to be a leader very much, but I'm also vulnerable, and so there's nothing to be ashamed of anymore. And it took me a while to come to this equilibrium, but I've been seeing a therapist on and off since I was probably 19 years old. When I was still in rabbinical school. I had different struggles throughout, and therapy is like so amazing. It's so necessary, and like you don't even have to have mental health struggles to go to therapy. Therapy, for some people is just an objective point of view, kind of compartmentalizing all the things they're going through.
Shmuel, we go to the gym to take care of our bodies. We can agree with that?
Absolutely.
Therapy is the gym for your mind.
100%.
And your soul. That's how 100%,
I feel. 100%.